is a short one tonight. There it is. Very good. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lppbbsg Primary Purpose Big Book Study Group. Our study follows a 96-week cycle that begins with the cover page and continues through page 164. Along the way, we revisit spiritual experience in Appendix 2 3 times. We also cover To the Employers, To the Wives, Dr. Bob's Nightmare, and the 12 Traditions before starting the cycle again. We are now in our 6th year using this format, and we're grateful that you're here to be a part of it.
My name is Terry, and I am a recovered alcoholic.
And my name is Shayna, and I am a recovered alcoholic. Before we begin, please be aware that the first 90 minutes of this meeting will be recorded in audio only for our website, podcast, and YouTube channel. If you missed the study portion, you can listen to it online. Study pages will also be listed. Be sure to check out the information posted in the chat throughout the meeting. Any announcements for the Greater of AA and or this group?
Hi family, my name is Jamie, very grateful recovered alcoholic. Like to say thank you to all who made it to our group conscience last night, and thank you for your participation. Larry and I will both be off to second quarter assembly this weekend. Larry is the GSR for this group, so we will have a report coming to you down the line at our next group conscience. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. And no more announcements? All right. Tonight we are starting a new chapter. We will screen share, and Terry will read the blue page. This will give us some history on the chapter. This is not something that everybody else has in the book, but it will be on the screen. And then we have our study portion, which will begin on page 58. It's the beginning of how it works, and it ends on page 60. Just what do we do? This will be read by Joanne B.
Please take a moment to settle in and get comfortable. We take our big book study seriously, and we want everyone to feel present and connected as we begin. In a moment, we'll take a 3-minute meditation followed by the fog light prayer. As we move into this study, please help us maintain a peaceful environment. Be mindful of background noise when unmuted. If you wouldn't do it in a live meeting, please don't do it on Zoom. And stay muted during others' share. We will call on raised hands in order.
From the foreword to the first edition, we of Alcoholics Anonymous are more than 100 men and women who have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. To show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book and of this group. For the meditation, focus on breath and posture. Breathe in God, breathe out self. Take this time to reconnect with God and release the day. Come on in with our monks. Jamie, come on in with our fog light prayer.
Hey, it's already up on the screen. Do you not see it?
It's a black screen.
It's a black screen.
Hang on. Must be those Zoom changes again.
It looks like it's on its way. There it is. And Jamie, will you read that for us?
Yes, for those of you who wish to join me in it, our fog light prayer. God, let your love shine through us like a fog light, so that those that are lost, sick, and dying can find your love through us. Amen.
Okay, now it's time for our secretary's report.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I'm your recovered alcoholic secretary. I've asked Jacqueline to read the recovered statement to explain why many in this group identify as recovered. Jacqueline, you're up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacqueline M., and I'm a recovered alcoholic. Recovered. We're not cured of alcoholism, recovered but not cured. That presents a conflict to some alcoholics. If we were cured, we would be able to drink responsibly. No, we are not cured. The
Allergic.
Allergic?
The allergic reaction to alcohol will remain with us for a lifetime, but we have been restored to sanity. That the main problem of alcohol centers in the mind rather than in his body, page 23. We're now sane where alcohol is concerned. Consequently, we have recovered. Thank you, both.
Thank you, Jacqueline. We meet every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Central Time at Fellowship. The meeting starts at 6:30, Big Book Study, and chat will be disabled so that we can focus on the meeting. Some stats from the 1940s. One recovered alcoholic working with an untreated alcoholic. From the forward to the second edition, 50% got sober at once, 25% sobered after some relapses, the remainder improved. Do we have any first-time visitors?
Looks like we have a few. Looks like we have Patrick is with us, and David is with us, and Michael, and Lindsay.
Wow, welcome, Patrick,
Welcome,
David,
everybody.
Michael,
And Carlisa.
Lindsay.
Welcome.
Everybody.
Glad to have you all.
Very glad to have you here. And the recovered alcoholics, please raise your hand. These are your potential sponsors. And is anybody celebrating a milestone this week? Is anybody's special week?
I don't see any.
No? Okay. If you need a big book, we can send a large print copy. Please let one of us know by chat after the meeting. Please practice the seventh tradition using the links in the chat. We encourage you to get a big book and work with an untreated alcoholic. And thank you, and see you next week, Lord willing.
Thank you, Stephanie. From There Is a Solution, we have discovered a common solution, a way out on which we can absolutely agree. This is an open meeting and everyone is welcome. You're not required to identify yourself, and your anonymity, just like ours, will always be protected. Our group is for those who want to recover from alcoholism and have a desire to stop drinking for good and all. We also believe that every AA member is a potential sponsor, and we encourage each of us to take that responsibility to heart.
And last week we reviewed Tradition 9. Tonight we will review Tradition 10. This can be found on page 562. And come on in, Jamie, our traditionalist.
Good evening, family. Thank you. My name is Jamie, very grateful, recovered alcoholic. First, with the short form, Tradition 10. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name never be drawn into public controversy. And the long form, no AA group or member should ever, in such a way as to implicate AA, express any opinion on outside controversial issues, particularly those of politics, alcohol reform, or sectarian religion. The Alcoholics Anonymous groups oppose no one. Concerning such matters, they can express no views whatsoever. That's real important. And announcements. I said I'd be going to our second quarter assembly here in the state of Tennessee, and over the weekend, I was with our delegate in District 40, and several of us in this meeting were there, and we had a pre-conference. I'm drawing a blank. Pre-conference report, because the General Service Conference happens next month in New York, and all of the delegates, and there'll be about 113 people in New York making decisions of what's going to happen and voting what will happen in Alcoholics Anonymous the next year or two. A lot of that is new literature and pamphlets, and I'm gonna give you an idea on some of the pamphlets. And if it makes any of you uncomfortable, I apologize, but it goes directly to that in Alcoholics Anonymous, we have no opinion on outside issues. One of the pamphlets is the pamphlet that already exists, other medications and stuff. And there's a PAI out there from a group. They're wanting to add marijuana into that pamphlet and so on. That's from, I want to say, Area 10 or something like that. There's other pamphlets, the Asian alcoholic, the transgender alcoholic, and all of those things. And the truth is all of those things, folks, are outside issues. I'm an alcoholic for one reason and one reason only. I've got an allergy to alcohol. And that's what brought me here, was my allergy. I pick up that first drink somewhere between the bottom of the first and the second one. I have that allergic reaction, and I break out in a drunk. I got here with a lot of outside issues, but it appears as though some folks seem to think that we need to bring in outside issues in order to be more inclusive in Alcoholics Anonymous. This is the most inclusive program in the world, and if we are not careful, we will start creating classes of people in Alcoholics Anonymous and creating division. My sexuality, the color of my skin, my sexual orientation, none of that has anything to do with what makes me an alcoholic. They're all outside issues, and therefore that's applicable to this tradition tonight. So if you haven't had a chance to go to a pre-conference with your delegate in your area, I would encourage you to do it before next month and have a voice in how you feel. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Jamie. Now it is time for our segment of That Ain't in the Big Book. We sometimes hear things in meetings that don't align with the big book. The topic for tonight is Meeting Makers Make It. And Shay, are you able to unmute and tell us what the big book has to say about that? This can be found on page 59, paragraph 3.
Hi, I'm Shayla. I'm an alcoholic. It says, here are the steps we took, which are suggested as the program of recovery.
Okay. Thank you, Shayla. Be sure to use your pens, highlighters, and rulers as we study. We use the Joe and Charlie Krusty Clip study guide to stay focused and consistent. After reading tonight's study, we will ask questions from the imaginary podium. Answers are one sentence in order, taken directly from the text. We read the material once, then dissect it through question and answer. This helps us understand and apply the content clearly.
After the study, we open the meeting for comments based on the pages just read. Our purpose here is to stay in the big book and let the message do the work. If a share drifts into something better handled with a sponsor, we can kindly point you that way.
Will W. wrote, sobriety, freedom from alcohol, through the teaching and practice of the 12 steps is the sole purpose of any AA group.
And before we begin the new blue page, we will need 5 or 6 volunteers to be our answer readers. All right. And then if Jamie could go ahead and screen share our blue page. All right, thank you. Terry, you go right ahead.
Okay. We're on week 3. This is what we call our blue page. By the time we get to chapter 5, how it works, understanding the problem is alcoholism and what the solution is, God as we understand him. Now all we need to know is what we must do to recover from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, and precisely how we do it. We will receive our first set of clear-cut directions in this chapter. These directions will be for steps 3 and 4. The chapter begins by telling how well this program works for those of us who put it to work in our lives. We are told who of those coming to Alcoholics Anonymous for help fails and why. We have been told that this is a spiritual program, and here we will find the first of a number of prayers just before we are told what we must do to recover. We are then told what to do and what order we are to do them. When Bill W. began to write this chapter, he realized he was without some vital information. He had the 6 precincts that the alcoholic squad of the Oxford group had developed from their experience. These can be found on page XVI and again in the 4th edition on page 263. They are: number 1, complete deflation. 2, dependence and guidance from a higher power. 3, moral inventory. 4, confession. 5, restitution. 6, continued work with other alcoholics. He believed these were not sufficiently complete for a person alone in this world of ours, so he prayed. Bill said that he laid his pad and pencil on the nightstand by his bed. Then he asked for guidance through prayer and meditation for about 30 minutes. He said he then picked up the pad and pencil and started writing. His hand seemed to flow on its own, he said. After writing for about 40 minutes, he stopped and read what he had written. He placed numbers by the steps and was both surprised and very pleased to see the 6 had become 12. Bill believed this significant because of the 12 apostles. Well, there are slight differences between what Bill wrote and what is now in the big book. He wrote one sentence that was voted out by that part of the fellowship that participated in the authorship of this book. What he wrote followed immediately after the ABCs and was as follows. If you are not convinced of these vital issues, A, B, and C's, you ought to reread the book to this point or else throw it away. In any event, this chapter gives us the information necessary to begin to see what the truth is regarding the source of the insanity that leads the chronic alcoholic back to drink. It provides some promises as to what will happen when we take the steps. Being the basic text for fellowship, it will tell us when to take the step, how to take the step, and what the results will be. It also reminds us why we must take the steps. We may hear there are no musts in Alcoholics Anonymous. If they are referring to the fellowship, that is almost true. There is only one must to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and that is a desire, a longing, a yearning to stop drinking for good and all. That is a must. But each person coming to Alcoholics Anonymous seeking help has the freedom to adopt our program as a way of life and thereby come to comprehend the word serenity and know peace, or to ignore the program and return to drinking and die, or go permanently insane. The program of Alcoholics Anonymous, however, contains many musts, have to, had to, etc. Certainly, the program is a suggested program. If you have tried everything else and kept on drinking, we suggest you try ours. Why? Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed the directions in this book. Now let's find out how we begin to recover by taking steps 3 and 4 following the directions in this chapter. We recovered by the steps we take, not the meetings we make.
Fabulous. Thank you, Terry. Very well read. And Joanne B., can you come in for our study portion tonight? Again, this will be the very beginning of how it works, page 58.
Yes, good evening, family. My name's Joanne, and I'm an alcoholic. Chapter 5, How It Works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simpler program, usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunate. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demand rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorder, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our story discloses in a general way what we used to be like, what's happening, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. And some of these we bought. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnest at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and serve from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old idea, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember, that we deal with alcohol. Cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Had measures avail us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care will complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. One, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our life had become unmanageable. Two, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore the sanity. Three, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood him. Four, made a searching and fearful more inventory of ourselves. Five, admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact natures of our wrong. Six, were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Seven, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. Eight, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or other. 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, properly admit it. 11, sort through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry it out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to the alcoholic and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many of us have claimed, what in order? I can't go through with it. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guide to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventure before and after make clear three pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he was sought. Being convinced, we was at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our life over to God and we understood him. Just what do we mean by that? And just what do we do? Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Jillian. That was wonderful. All right. I see we have 5 readers. My batting order is Kenny, Linda, Jacqueline. Joanne, you want some more? I like it. All right, Joanne and Larry. Oh, but there's William. I was going to say, you were going to leave me hanging. There you are. All right. So back up at the top, everybody. Going to page 58. Boop, 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 boop. I will have some questions, and this will go sentence by sentence, one line at a time. And for my answer readers, please make sure you speak clearly. And if you lose your place, you can pass, or you can allow me to redirect you. All right, so starting with Kenny. To be successful in this program, what must we do?
Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path.
Excellent. And Linda. This is a 2-part question, but still only one sentence. Who will not recover? And what is usually their natural problem?
Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Jacqueline, are there such people?
There are such unfortunate.
Thank you. And Joanne, why are they that way?
They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way.
Excellent. And Larry, what are they unable to do?
They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty.
That's right. And William, are their chances pretty good?
Their chances are less than average.
Right. And Kenny, what other types of alcoholics can recover?
There are those too who suffer from grave emotional mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest.
Right. And Linda, what are our stories supposed to do?
Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now.
I'm going to be coming in with several comments. Our first comment. Some folks have little trouble with this one. They read it as what it was like, what happened, and what it is like now. It very clearly reads what we were like, what happened, and what we are like now. It seems pretty obvious it wasn't too good, or we never would have come back to this bunch of all-time losers.
That's great. Thank you. And did I leave off with Jacqueline?
It's my turn.
Yes. Okay, it is your turn, Jacqueline. If you want what this program has to offer, what must you do?
If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps.
That's right. Thank you. And Joanne, do we look forward to taking these steps?
And some of these we bought.
Yep. And Larry, with our sound sense of reasoning, what do we try to do?
But we cannot or could not.
But we thought we could.
But we thought we could find an easier, softer way. Excuse me.
Thank you. And William, could we find it?
But we could not.
Another comment. We recovered alcoholics can assure every chronic alcoholic that these steps, when taken as directed, are the easier, softer way.
Yes. All right, Kenny. What do we sincerely beg of you?
With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start.
That's right. And Linda, another two-parter. Which of our old ideas, beliefs, or opinions are worth retaining? And what must we do with our old ideas?
Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely.
Thank you. And Jacqueline, what must we remember?
Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful.
Okay, if we have an alcoholic mind, must we also remember that alcoholism is permanent, progressive, patient, and fatal?
Thank you. Oh, heavens, I've already forgotten where I left off again. I think, Joanne?
Yes, with thy help.
All right. So, Joanne, must we have help?
With thy help, it is too much for us.
That's right. And Larry, who has all the power?
But there is one who has all power. That one is God.
Thank you. And William, when should we try to find him?
May you find him right now.
I love it. Thank you. And Kenny, if we are half-hearted in applying this program, how successful will we be?
Half measures avail us nothing.
Yep. And Linda, if we understand that lack of power is our problem and that a power greater than ourselves is the solution, where are we?
We stood at the turning point.
Yes. And Jacqueline, what do we ask?
Wax his protection and kill with complete abandon.
Yes,
Okay, this is the first of several prayers we will find as we progress in recovery. Remember, this is a spiritual program. Therefore, we will find one or more prayers for each and every step. We learn how to more and more involve God in our lives. We find this way of living to be extremely practical.
Indeed, we do. I'm going to need your help again. Give me a hands up. Who's next?
Joanne.
Thank you. You all are keeping me straight. All right, Joanne. This is a two-part. Here are the steps. We what and what are these steps?
Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery.
And I have another comment here. The authors of this book recovered by taking the steps, not by just going to meetings. The material they gave us is in the past tense. They report what they did, how they did it, and what the results were. If we do what they did, we will get what they got. Read the steps and contemplate what they say. They tell us precisely what we must do to recover. We will then be given the information we need to understand the significance of the steps and the clear-cut directions for taking them.
Thank you. All right, I got it this time. Larry, coming back to you. Step 1, the problem, alcoholism.
We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable.
Yes, thank you. William, step 2, the solution, a power greater than ourselves. Oh, William, you're muted, honey. We got to give you a little unmute cue. There it is.
Thank you. Okay, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
That's right. And Kenny, step 3, a decision to take the rest of the steps, to learn if that power greater than ourselves is available to us.
Made a decision to turn our will and life over to the care of God as we understood him.
We will now begin to be at peace with the God of our understanding.
Yes. And Linda, step 4, an effort to learn the truth about ourselves.
4, made a searching and a fearless moral inventory of ourselves.
Yes. And Jacqueline, step 5, the humility to honestly admit our character defects to our higher power, ourselves, and another human being, and to learn more of the truth about the way we have treated and harmed others.
Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs.
Yes, and Joanne, step 6, a commitment to our higher power, that we will continue our study of the Big Book and follow the clear-cut directions to the best of our understanding.
Was entirely ready to have God remove all the defect of character.
Yes. And Larry, step 7, now that we have told him we will do our part, we humbly ask him to do his part.
7, humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings.
We will now begin to be at peace with ourselves.
Yes. And William, step 8, take the list from column 1 of our 4th step and add it to all the people we have neglected, used, abused, or otherwise harmed.
Made a list of all persons who had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all.
Yes. And Kenny, step 9, make restitution on all those on our step 8 list of people we have harmed.
Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when they do so with the injured them or others.
Okay, I'm coming in with 2 comments. First one, we will now begin to be at peace with the people and the world around us. Okay, this action step is vital to long-term emotional sobriety, for this step is where we forgive. If we have carefully followed directions, we will experience a great spiritual event, an awakening experience with us, or as Dr. Silkworth said, an entire psychic change.
Yes. And Linda? I do believe. Step 10, continue to apply steps 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, moment by moment, day by day.
Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it.
This is how we stay free of our old ideas and begin spiritual growth.
Yes. And Jacqueline, step 11, this is how we learn to talk to God, prayer, and listen to God, meditation.
Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out.
Hey, this is the promise of the program, a statement of our primary purpose and how we are to apply these steps to every area of our lives. This is where we live the program. We feel that elimination of our drinking is but a beginning. A much more important demonstration of our principles, 12 steps, lies before us in our respective homes, occupations, and affairs. Page 19.
Yes, thank you. And Joanne, step 12, This is a three-parter, still only one sentence. A, what is the promise of having taken the first 11 steps? B, what must we then try to do? And C, where else must we apply these steps?
First part, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, and then we try to carry this message to alcoholics and then to the practice of these principles in all our affairs.
Yes, thank you. And Larry, what do many of us exclaim?
Many of us exclaim, "What an order!" Going, I can't go through with it.
Yes, thank you. William, should we just throw our hands up and quit?
No way. Do not be discouraged.
Right. And Kenny, how many of us are doing this precisely?
No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles.
Yes. Linda, we are certainly not what?
We're not saints.
Yes. And Jacqueline, if we really want to recover, we must be willing to do what?
The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines.
Yes. And Joanne, what is the nature of these 12 steps?
The principles we have set down are guides to progress.
Oh, did I skip something?
No.
No, okay, I'm sorry.
So. Okay, I'm coming in with another comment. Principles are defined as basic truths or basic laws. God, in his creation, gave us two types of principles, natural and spiritual. The natural laws we get for free, like gravity, water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, etc. The spiritual laws require a very precise course of action before we can be beneficiaries of them. In our case, the spiritual principles are the 12 steps.
Yes. I think I left off on Joanne. I'm going to go Larry. What do we gain as a result of taking these steps? But will we never achieve what?
We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection.
Yes. And William, what two sections of this book describe the alcoholic, and what chapter describes the agnostic? Where do we find the adventures before and after, and what do these make clear?
Our description of the alcoholic, the principle to the agnostic, and our personal adventure before and after make clear three pertinent ideas.
Thank you. And Kenny, is this step one?
That we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives.
And Linda, is this also step one?
B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism.
And Jacqueline, is this step two?
That God could and would if he were so.
Okay, this is where Bill wrote in the original manuscript. If you are not convinced of the ABCs, reread this book or throw it away.
Yes. And Joanne, if we are convinced of these vital issues, the ABCs, where are we? And what have we decided to do?
Being convinced, we was at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our life over to God as we understood Him.
Yes. And Larry, which two questions need to be answered at this point?
Yes, what do we mean by that? And just what do we do?
Hey, this is my last comment of the night. The answer to the first question will be found beginning on this page and continuing through page 62. The answer to the second question begins on page 63 and ends at the bottom of the bottom of 164.
Yay! Great job, everybody. Thank you so much. This is the part of the meeting where we will open up for sharing. If you have any experience with the pages read tonight, please do share. We ask that you stay on topic and mindful of the time. You may see a 5-minute timer at the top of your screen. Absence of profanity offends no one. And so now we are open for comments, questions, observations, spiritual experiences based on the study material. All right, let me see what hands we have. Oh my goodness sakes. I don't see any. Oh, there we are.
Hi,
Linda, come on in, girl.
Hi, my name is Linda. I'm an alcoholic. The one about the all-time losers, that was too funny. That was just too funny, you know? But it was the absolute truth. The absolute truth. You know, we do whine, what an order I can't go through. We do whine about it. We do, you know, but we didn't have no problem getting up in the cold, in the night, going far, scratching up 2 nickels or whatever to go get this drink. The hardest thing to do. But here, the easiest sort of way we couldn't do. That's typical mind of an alcoholic. I remember when there was Al-Anon House down on 46th Street before they sold the building. And that was one of the oldest meetings in Manhattan. I think it was maybe the first meeting he made in Manhattan. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of history to that meeting. And they had the original baseball bat that he used for Group Conscious. And then they didn't have any business meetings. I don't know why. But there was a lot of memorabilia. And the safe that they used to put the money in, they had that. And the desk and the chair. We used to go to that meeting a lot, and it was a really good meeting because it was right there, 46th Street, 8th Avenue. It was right there by Times Square. So all the actors that were in AA, on their break, they would come and they would make a meeting. A lot of out-of-towners would come there and make a meeting too, And there was a young guy with a suit on. He was mandated to come to AA because he was going to lose his job. And he had this attitude of, oh, this is such bullshit. I'm wasting my time. That was, typical attitude. And so he said, how does this program work? I don't understand it. How does it work? I'm not understanding. What am I supposed to do? And it's like we would tell him the first thing to do is to put, the drink down. First thing, that's where you start off first. And then he kept asking how it works. And I wasn't trying to be funny, but I opened up the book and I said, here, this is how it works. I said, so read this. I said, and you'll understand how it works. And I stopped them at the part where A, B, and C, I stopped them there. And I said, so that's how it works. And he still didn't understand. So when we were sharing with him, we went through each step. And we used the step according to us and ourselves, and came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And we had to give him sort of like an illustration. Yeah, it has to be God to restore us because we were just too far gone. It couldn't be no human power. It had to be, the spirit in the sky, whatever you want to call God, And the first part, the unmanageable, I said unmanageable. I said, give me some examples of you being unmanageable. And he thought about it. And I said, that's step one. Then his eyes lit up. So every time we were going through the step, we would ask him a question or we would use an example. And then he got the gist of it, you know. And that guy did get sober and he stayed in AA a long time, you know. And when I see somebody doesn't understand it, you know, how does it work? I say it works just fine. I said AA works just fine, you know. But in how it works, it basically gives you an overall. But most times they see the steps from the wall, they think it's decoration. They don't understand it. They don't understand that or the tradition. So it's always good to sit down and explain to a newcomer that is coming in, you know, and is willing to come in, whether it's for their job, save their marriage, or whatever it is, you know. It's always good to explain because they think it's some magical thing. I'm going to snap my finger, you know, I'm going to take a pill, I'm going to get an energy drink, and I'm going to get sober. And it's that's not what it's about. It's on a different level, you know. It's on a totally different dimension. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Linda. And Larry, come on in.
Yeah, I'm Larry. You know, as I was reading this, I mean, I can't imagine there, you know, not having experience in these ages here. You know, I but you know, the first part, I feel so fortunate. I feel so fortunate to be here tonight. I read. We were reading this, and we read these every week. We hear these every week in some of our brick and mortar meetings. Some of these readings, you know, how it works and whatever. And you know, I hear even newcomers sometimes. We hear this every week. I don't need to listen to these, you know, every week. You know, but you know, it's so important to listen. And tonight, I heard something when I read this again. After 15 years. Their chances are less than average because I was one of those people that refused to be completely honest when I first came into Alcoholics Anonymous. I had secrets that I was going to take to the grave, and I wasn't going to share with anybody. And I feel so fortunate because when I would, you know, lose a sponsor or I would move and I would change sponsors, you know, before changing, there would be long periods of time that I wouldn't have a sponsor and I'd be sponsoring myself sometimes 6, 8, 9 months at a time, you know. And that kind of inconsistency in the program, it's a wonder that I'm here tonight. But I got a sponsor several years back that loved me, that knew the steps, and he took me through the steps. And even when he took me through the steps, he could see that I needed to go through the steps again and again until I really got honest. And that kind of love and that kind of compassion and that kind of caring allowed me to share the very things that I was not going to share with anybody. And because of that, I'm free tonight. I'm completely free from all that was holding me back, from all that AA had for me, and I'm free to serve completely others in a way that I would never be possible if I hadn't got honest. And I'm so thankful. I'm so blessed that I'm here tonight because, you know, less than average. I had less than half of a chance to make it the way I came in, but I'm here tonight, and it's because of my higher power, and it's because of God, and it's because of people that love me, people in the groups and in the rooms, and it's people like you that I've met that help me stay centered enough to get this thing and learn. And these steps, man, when I share it with my sponsees now, I light up just as much when I share it with them as they light it up. I just enjoy telling people what they do and what they mean. That's all I got.
Beautiful. Thank you, Larry. William.
My name is
Come
William
on
Alcoholic. My name is William Alcoholic. Thank God for this program, these principles. And I was clueless when I came to Alcoholics Anonymous. And thank God Bill took that word out. If you're not convinced, throw this book away, because I was one of those cookies. I came here, I was really broken, mentally, spiritually, and physically, and I like the way he used words, he say bark, so it's my story how I bark, you know what I mean? I bark like this. It's two repetitions. I got willpower. Little things like that I was saying to myself, you know what I mean? I don't need this, and alcohol is not a disease, but I'm a person I'm a practical person. I'm not an intellectual person, you know what I mean? So I'm a practical person, like I was talking about, like when he went in there and came from the blue page when it defined the difference between the air and these things and then spirituality, which is normal, the thing that's there for us, but the spirituality you have to work for it, But I tell you, I came around in 1989, you know, April of 1989. It wasn't the January of 1992. And I'm not saying it's not a badge of honor. If you could come here and get this the first day you come into Alcoholics Anonymous, God bless you. But I was in there that what he say, 50% of the people went back out and they came back, 25% of them came back and they got sober. That's the group I was in. So what happened with me when I was sitting in the room and stuff, and every time, every group, like Larry said, most of the groups you go to, they read how it works. And in 1 hour literature meetings, I was saying in order to cut it down, so we have time, so we can get all this into an hour. Let's take out how it works. And I was the only one willing to do that. Everybody else said, "Don't kick it in." So now I understand why that is. But every time they used to read how it worked when I was struggling and trying to stay sober, I inventory myself, and I say that the reason why I couldn't get sober because I was grave emotion and mental disorder. And that's what I say to myself. This ain't gonna, this ain't gonna work for you. But thank God. So now I didn't see this other part where it says they do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. And so that's what I had to do. I had to get honest about the alcohol. I used to have people. I had all kind of human angels to hold me here. And I had this one lady used to stand behind me all the time, and I'd have been crazy now. I was talking politics like crazy in the meeting, and she would get up and stand up, and she was a very petite, small woman, and she would get up no matter where I sat at. She'll be behind me. As soon as I started talking, she would get up and say, "William, get under the alcohol." And boy, I have such a resentment at her. And I remember they had smoke works and stuff, and we would go out on the back and they have smoke works, and she'd be on the other side, and my whole attention was on her, and I had such a resentment at her that I could have burned her dress off with that resentment. So for 5 years, I wouldn't speak to her and say nothing to her. So being around her, I decide I go and ask her. I say, "I'm having my anniversary.
would you like to speak at Manabee? She said, William, that's an honor for me to do that. So now, that was a segue for me to ask her the real question, right? Because I want to know why you hollering at me. I didn't say it like that. I said, well, but why you hollering at me all the time? She said, William, I love you, and I don't want to see you go back out there and suffer more. And boy, every time I seen that lady, it's the resentment that I used to have for her come between every time I see her, and the hair be rolling up on my arm, man. So thank God the repetition program. Thank God they didn't throw the books away, because it took me some time, and I'm still coming learning more and more about the spiritual program now. And whenever the old timer broke down the spirituality to me, because I had been to church, I had sit up there and heard people talk about all this stuff, religion and all this stuff. So I was confused. So the old timer put it just like this. They say, "Give of yourself without looking for something back." And I said, "If you don't do it, just practice it." And they told me the simple things I could do to develop that. They should say good morning or hello to somebody. Show them, I'm sorry, show them where the bathroom at, tell them where the next meeting, give them your phone number and stuff like that. So they say, how do you get to Cunningham Hall? Practice, 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 man. But I'm grateful to be here today and glad to be here with y'all. Continue to learn about this disease. Thank you.
Well said, William. Thank you. Joanne, come on in, honey.
Hey, family, my name is Joanne. I'm alcoholic. I enjoyed the reading, I enjoyed the survey work, and I enjoyed the comments. But I remember when he said being convinced was at step 3. I remember when I made that beginning on that step, the previous 2 steps before I got working with my sponsor. It felt like I became more responsible. It came like I had something to do. I had something to look forward to. It was like that was my prayer life. I began to get my prayer life in order. Then when I began to ask how and why things was happening in my life, or how can things happen in my life, I just got to the place where I started believing a power greater than myself. I got to the thing where I began to want to do the right thing for the right reason. It was like a new beginning for me. It was like hope that I can make it now. Because by the time I got to my step 3, by the time I made it to that part of the step, I had made a 90-90. I had followed some direction. I was working with my sponsor. I was listening to what they were saying about God. I was looking at the experience that other people was having. It looked like things that began to come true in my life. I ain't gonna say come true, but like as things began to be revealed. Like I had been restored, like I began to live again. My life started meaning something to me. I had a purpose. I was looking forward to going to meetings, and I was looking, doing what my sponsor said do. Greet the people at the door, go make the coffee. It looked like I was just coming, it looked like I began to live again. That old me that I came in with began to shed, but it wasn't gone because I still had stuff going on inside of me. And I had to learn how to process it. I had to learn how to overcome it, but I didn't know how to do it. But I made meetings and I talked with my sponsor and I did some of the things that he asked me to do. And my life began to start meaning something to me. Stuff started happening. And I started feeling good about myself. And then I started feeling good I started feeling good to seeing other people being happy. I wanted them to be there. And then I started welcoming the newcomer, the ladies. It was just like they talk about. It was like an adventure. It was something new. I mean, at the time, I was living in a recovery house, and I was living with. It was 15 ladies in the house. And at first I started off, but then as I continued and I had to learn the third step, I learned how to pray, I learned how to do the other things that they suggest. Then them sisters, them ladies become friends to me and they became my sister, you know. So I really appreciate being, at the time being at step 3, and I still like step 3 because I had to, at the time, step 3 mean more to me now than it did then because I got a better understanding now. But it was good in the beginning because I was excited. You know, I found something that I didn't have when I made it here, and I was just excited. Stuff I mean, it was like, huh, for real? And I just run to the, I just call my sponsor. I said, guess what? So and so said. I said, man, and I said, it is. Ooh, I was just excited. I was excited about my, I was excited about my recovery. Anyway, I enjoyed this meeting. I keep coming back. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you, Miss Joanne. Pleasure having you. Jacqueline, come on in, girl.
Hello, group. My name is Jacqueline M., and I'm a recovered alcoholic. And thank you for everyone that's in service, and thank you for the shares that came before me. You know, for the life of me, when I first got here to Alcoholics Anonymous, I did not know why we went to chapter 5 in the big book instead of the beginning of the big book. You know, and in every meeting, you know, you would hear how it works, you know, how it works, you know. But as I got, I remember I told my sponsor, and she just told me to keep coming back. But the more I learned, I heard how it works. You know, one day I was walking, getting out of my car, walking towards my the building at work. I was able to recite how it works. You know, it was like it just was in my spirit. I had no idea what how it works meant. But as I kept coming back, you know, this first sentence tells me, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. And, you know, some people may say, what path? You know, today I realize the path is the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, if you follow that path, it's a chance that you will not only stay sober, but you will have quality sobriety. You know, I have come to find out that, you know, if I don't drink, you know, I will get sobriety. But if I practice these steps, I will get quality sobriety. And I like the reading and the statement where, you know, and a lot of people I hear, they think that the 3 pertinent ideas, step 1, 2, and 3, but it's step 1, and step 2. You know, and that kind of put me in mind. I know when I was in treatment, uh, 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 they said something that I can't, he can if I let him, you know, and, you know, the ABCs, you know, tells me that we were alcoholics and could not manage our lives, you know, that's step 1, you know, and I definitely couldn't manage my life when I got here. I didn't think I was an alcoholic, but as I kept coming back and as I began to lean in and hear you all share y'all experience, strength, and hope, and the fog lifted, I said, yeah, I felt like that. I did that. And I, you know, conceded to my innermost self that I was an alcoholic. And then this is probably no human power. No human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And there were so many times that I wanted to stop, but I couldn't stay stopped. You know, I could not stay stopped. And but they and it's telling me in A and B what the problem is. But there and C is giving me a solution to that problem. that God could and would if He was sought, and that was step 2. And like I heard, I kept coming back, and I began to hear you all shared how y'all got um, uh, relieved from alcoholism. Because when I got here, I thought it was no way out. But y'all was telling me there was a way out because I was hearing you all, I was seeing you all, and I was hearing some horror stories, things that I never went through, yet. But they told me that my life would get better the same way their life got better because God knows when I got here, I really didn't think Alcoholics Anonymous would work for me, and then, we read, if we thoroughly follow our path, and we read, here are the steps we took, which I suggested as a program of recovery, and as I begin to embark on those steps, my life has gotten better, not perfect, but better. This is why I keep coming back to Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm going to stop here and thank you.
Thank you, Miss Jacqueline. Trish, come on in. I thought your hand went down and then you came back up, so thank you.
Well, it went up, and then I realized it was over the timer so people couldn't see it, so I put it down. So, and I remembered to turn it on for myself, and I usually don't. So, hi everybody, I'm Trish, I'm an alcoholic. I love what it said in the blue page. Being the basic text for our fellowship, it will tell us when to take a step, how to take the step, what the results will be, and also reminds us why we must take the steps. So I get the direction of when to take it, how to get it, what the results will be. Those are the promises. So each step has promises. It's not just the 9-step promises that we hear so often in the meetings. But next week we're going to hear a whole bunch of a big long paragraph, just like the 9-step promises, that are the 2nd step promises, and I love the 5th step promises too. So stay tuned for that. But when I came in, I was not willing to go to any length. I was willing to come in, and I wanted what you had, but I wanted the shortcut way to get it. I kind of wanted Dorothy Gale's red slippers out of Wizard of Oz to click my heels and say there's no place like serenity and get there. But these steps don't work like that. I've got to take the steps, not work them. I've got to take the steps. I've got to live them and incorporate them into my life. I had to become willing to go to any lengths. And any lengths for me, the hardest part was that 4th and 5th step, looking at myself and looking at those things that I swore I was going to take to my grave and I wasn't ever going to tell a soul. I don't remember if I was told it in a one-on-one sponsor conversation or if it was something somebody said in a meeting early on when I was struggling with, I'm not telling anybody this, I'm not telling anybody that. But somebody said the simplicity is, if it has a name, it's been done before, so I'm not the first person to have done it. And that really hit home for me, because it made me not so unique. Because if all those things that I was carrying, that guilt, remorse, and that shame over, if it had a name, other people had done it too. And I was just using that to keep myself at arm's length and out of the serenity of the program. Which moves on to the holding on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until I let go absolutely, until I could take a full 100% 4th step. And it took a couple decades to get all of it out. I got some of it out with my first sponsor. I got some of it out with my 3rd sponsor. You see how this goes. Then I went a while without a sponsor, and then I got another sponsor, and I got a little bit out with her. But there was stuff that I was just not going to tell anybody. And it wasn't even a planned conversation, and there it was. And that's when I truly found the peace and the serenity and the love of my God. Knowing that I did it, I said it, I shared it with somebody. And not only did that person still love and accept me, but so did God. And that for me was huge, because I wasn't willing to, because up until that, I was still standing at that turning point. I wanted to do it. I was still struggling, stepping from bridge to shore, as it says somewhere else in the book. But I had to get to that point where I was finally willing and able to ask for his protection and care with that complete abandon, and then willing to take the action to show that I was willing to turn my will and my life over under his protection and care. And where else? There was something else I had in here that I had marked off, but I can't find it. There it is. And when I first heard that the ABCs were step 1 and step 2, I'm scratching my head saying, how? ABC is the equivalent of 1, 2, 3. The Jackson 5 told me that. But it makes sense. I was alcoholic and could not manage my own life, the unmanageability. No human power could have relieved my alcoholism, the powerlessness. But God could and would if he were sought. And there's my step 2. And then it brings me back, then it tells me, being convinced I was at step 3, what am I going to do about it? And I have written in my book, being convinced we were at step 3, and I wrote in, but was I really? Because I've got another 2.5 pages to read before I get to that 3rd step prayer. I've got to learn all about that actor and the director and my selfishness that I never wanted to look at. But just what do we mean by that? By turning our will and our life over to the God as we understood him. Just what do we mean by that? And just what do? We move on to the next step. We learn to trust that God, and I learned to trust that God by taking the following steps. To going into step 3, going into step 4, going into step 5. Because each step I take and incorporate into my life, I get a deeper understanding of God, and therefore I'm shaking my desk, so you're all kind of wiggling. I'm getting a deeper understanding of my God, which gives me a deeper understanding of both of you and me. So as long as I'm following these directions, I will continue to have spiritual experiences along the way. I will continue to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him. And I will continue to have all those promises throughout the book come true. Not just the 9th step, which are the ones we usually hear read in meetings. But we've got the 2nd step, we've got the 5th step, and we've got a whole bunch of other one-line promises that are hidden, but they're in there. So grab your book and find them, and that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Trish. I don't think I see any hands up, so am I wrong?
So it's your turn.
It's my turn. All right. Shayna, recovered alcoholic. Thank you all for this meeting. Thank you for asking me to be of service, because I don't know that I would readily just jump in. Listening to everybody's shares and part of the study, it brings me back to when I first came in. And, of course, more, because I learn every day. Every time I'm in here, I learn a little bit more. But it brings me back to my resistance. Never have I felt so deflated, but so righteous at the same time. When I came in, I was put into a corner. I was given an ultimatum: lose your kids, go to rehab. But I was still battling the internal, I'm not truly an alcoholic. If they only understood, if they had my life, then they would drink too, But I could not grasp, okay, now that I'm not drinking, now what do I do? For 30 something years, 32 years, I went along what I thought I know, self-propulsion, what life had taught me, what my experiences had taught me. And that was all in my best thinking. And it's no wonder that I didn't know what I didn't know. I called it a shenado. I wanted with all of my power to just be a loving, kind person, but I couldn't understand why I kept drinking. And I couldn't understand why I felt like a bag of bones, so empty inside, like I had no purpose. Like I could tell you I'm a mom. I could tell you I'm someone's daughter, but I didn't really know what my purpose or my being was. And I heard about God, and I said that stuff's confusing. I don't know. Maybe it's for the weak. I don't know. But working the steps. I just remember sitting in the clubhouse under the Liberty gas station, and I hearing everybody talk. And every meeting they read how it works, and I could probably recite how it works, but I still was so resistant to understanding or absorbing how it works. Like, what do I have to do? I don't understand how everybody's so happy and their lives are together, and I'm over here in a hot mess express, and I am feeling like the biggest piece of crap in the room. And eventually, I think because I kept coming in and I kept asking for help and I kept trying, or life became painful enough that I was willing to give it another shot, or try something that I hadn't already tried. And my God, my sponsor, God love her, she continues to Miyagi me. I always say we work steps and I don't even realize I'm doing it. I kept saying, I keep doing the 1, 2, 3 tango. And she's like, all right, well, let's work on the 4th step, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that. So I'll just keep going back to 1 and I'll go to 2 and then go to 3. But it was resistance. It wasn't that I was a could not, but it was a would not. And my sponsor taught me how to pray, how to look for God, and not your just typical, oh, there's God, there's the shining light, there's the burning bush, but ways to find God in hugs and snuggles and feelings, and really taught me how to be a human and to live life on life's terms, function in society, build relationships with my family, with genuine relationships, not to where I just feel fake and like I'm ready to leave. Like I always had an exit strategy. Now I can actually show up and I can be present. And it's because of this program, because of the books. I think I still have a healthy fear of, I don't want to go back out. So I keep coming here and I keep trying to learn, and I keep calling my sponsor 3 times a week, sometimes more. I keep trying to do my inventory, not perfect. My God, not perfect. But I keep trying, and I think that's what's important. And I love you all, and thank you for letting me ramble a little bit and listening. I've got no more hands. Oh my gosh. Anybody want to come in? Nope. All right. Did I lose my Where's my co-pilot? There you are. Terry, you want to come in? Oh, do we have to send you the mute thing?
Nope.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, it keeps getting me to update complete. Let me see if I could get back. Can you hear me at all?
I can. Yeah, I can hear you and see you.
Okay, because I'm on a weird page that wants me to update. Okay, I'm Cherry, recovered alcoholic. And first time I saw those steps on the wall, I was telling myself, no way, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna tell people I'm sorry. I just was full of I'm not doing it kind of things. And it was so confusing to me. It was just, hold on one sec. This is doing all kinds of weird things here. Anyway, there I am. What I heard early on, probably in my first handful of meetings, is that AA was not going to teach me how to get sober. It was going to teach me how to live sober. That I could relate to. Because I started drinking when I was 15, 16 years old. I didn't know anything about being sober, nothing. So I had to I really did start from scratch. And the only way I could do that is to jump in and work the steps. It took me 3 months. I didn't get a sponsor, and I was taking notes at meetings. That's how I was trying to learn how to live sober, but it didn't work. The program did not work for me until I started working the steps, taking the steps with a sponsor. And I still balked, didn't want to do it. I did not want to make amends. But I did it. And I don't think I ever felt such freedom after my first fifth step with my sponsor and making those amends. Oh my gosh, I was just walking on clouds all the time. I was part of. I was one of you guys, and I'd never been one of anything, except, back in high school when I was the stoner sitting on the corner with drinking Bloody Marys and smoking pot before school. But God, I never felt so good. And like I said, being part of is really important to me. And I just had to stay put and listen. I went to a 7 a.m. in-person meeting that was what's good about today. We're going to start our day with gratitude and fellowship and lots and lots and lots of extremely strong coffee that made you kind of cringe with every sip instead of savoring it. But that was AA to me. And I just wish I could get up at 7 a.m. and be at a 7 a.m. meeting, but that's not in the books for me at my age. But anyway, I thought it was a great meeting. I always loved this part. I love how this program works. And I loved reading the part about, the forward to that chapter, the blue page. Until you actually have a commitment like this and read it, you get so much more than just looking at it on the screen. I didn't know that part about the ABCs, that they didn't agree with Bill on that part, so they took it out. I've heard this 6 times we've been through this, we're on our fourth time. I never heard that before. So I encourage everybody to jump in and take a commitment like this, because you just learn so much more. So thanks for letting me share tonight, and I'll turn it back over to Shayna.
I was going to say, way to take it home, Terry. You want to take us to the 164?
I do.
Yay!
Let's take it on home. Okay. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask him in your morning meditation what you could do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is a great fact for us. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then. Okay, so we will close with a moment of silence. In this meeting, we raise our these aren't virtual hands, these are real hands. Since we can't touch hands together, we raise them to the screen. So after a moment of silence for the alcoholics out there that need to be here with us, need to learn how to live sober. Here's your moment. Will you join me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy
Hallowed
name.
be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
What a great meeting, y'all.
Great meeting,
Woo!
great meeting.
I'm coming back. I'm coming
Y'all have a
back
good
for
night.
more.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
everybody.
everyone.
See y'all next time.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
That's
Good
it.
everyone.
See y'all next time.
See you, William. Penny.